muma ya babedru baby a yedwe mamene the detective Nana Appiah eni enkomo wono eye retired police officer. Nana anope what make a good morning and pombo ko de
Mini Appiah me jozo na so
erade adom me hoye na ze osika ba ye ntimi wonkai me
Kessben. Ya say uko kumasi dia na esanema mu yenti no.
Me no that think ya me ko kumasi dia.
Oh, okay. Ya me ask.
Who ni ayira ya
Mate minia.
Very well. But minim say videos are circulating no what will be. Yes. Your impressions and your take on it. First of all, now I think yemra into the details.
Me that's me chat with you for me gidi is mahubi na ayade no kreni ensem fata just nia yen hwehwe na yen pese abihu ne yebeti ene se soldier ene police beka omo ho asiani e won tokwa kwan so na ase public omo egu omo ho animu ase no kreni nyame animu di. It doesn't picture well for the image of both the police and the military. In my opinion, I think that it needs to be condemned and measures need to be in place as soon as possible so that all of these rivalries in a war, I think that
do we have that level of rivalryism between the two?
Of course, it has been there for a long time.
I see.
Now, Nia Mbwa NSA, when it is a duty of a police and when it is a duty of a military, there should be a distinction for the two until say both command Appiah say we are doing collaboration to ensure that operation that we are conducting is both police and military. But we have seen recently that bullion vans are being escorted by military all over the place, and that smacks on the integrity of the police. Ideally, by the constitution and by the internal rules, it's supposed to be the duty of the police.
The escort of the bullion van, no?
Of course, it is the duty of the police. And are we saying, say, the police have become so loose, such that there can never be strategic measures to counter criminals in this country? And so now we have to resort to the use of the military. I think that alone, it undermines the confidence of the police. And it doesn't augur well. So the psychology of the police and the military, sometimes they need to play superiority over the other. This want to see that I am superior to you, and that want to see that I am superior to you. Of course, that will continue to bring this sort of conflict that we've been seeing. And not now, it's been there for quite a long time.
Now, Nana, I don't bro my dream because in terms of functions, and a Juma SSMOye, military function, and the armed forces function, clearly defined in our constitution, and then act established at the end of Juma SSMOye. Now, when it comes to internal matters and peace and security, safeguarding the protection of life and property, it is the duty of the police. And internally, there as I say, police and a young now the clearer distinction about unless internally there's a joint force operation, more invited military force will make come home. Now, where from the bravado, also videos are yehunibia with the narration are yenya so far, sir. Military obi chimoto edi omwachi, he was warned not to follow them near there. One more excuse me to say, one more Monsaki Kanikakra, and he one more handing over to the police. Not police, and so who said, Sani Pana, one more and Sani Yomunipa. Is that the best way? And say police, confronting the issue, especially when our military edinipano eba within your own yard.
Well, military. Sauchi Obi now who identifies as a police in here. In the first place, regardless of offense, an answer from so Nipanaye. So I identify as a police in Impo. You don't need to touch the fellow. Even if it's a civilian and watching across or Bonia. And that's all doing Sakano Embono. two wrongs does not also make a right. It doesn't also mean, say, police also a right to be also attack military. No. In fact, both institutions have superiors at all material time. No, but who military, who police, there's a leader, there's a senior man, and they're in charge of the two. Institution. No, immediately could put their heads together and make sure, say, the issues have been resolved. And not about confrontation and not about fighting that will resolve. It rather will deepen the cracks and it will lose the confidence and the trust between the two institutions. In my opinion, I think that there should be a lot of strategies to, call the two together. And it's been there for a long time. For me, the top hierarchy of the military and the police, they know, say, that rivalry is there. And,
rivalry, no, maintain who I say no, police adwuma away different, soldier dey away different. And the DNT was a sad and on Tawantawano in the first place. And on a mentias here.
Well, there's a lot of factors. One of the basic things a buy Maomunina who say adwuma the duty of both no as a constitutional and police for who say Ghana no.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be more riskier, they are more exposed and they are more visible than the military. And so it boils down to even getting into their salary structure. And they sometimes complain. And all of these things are factors are a boom. And the military also feels they also have a lot of duty, risk, and then war front and all of that, which the police also say, oh, we also perform the same duty. When it is conflict in Boko, conflict in anywhere of the country, we see both police and military. And what makes this thing continuously get deeper and deeper is the fact that the disparity always comes when authority are deciding on what is the remuneration for this and what is the remuneration for that. And then also, that aside, when they meet to perform duties, what needs to be set clear is the military always see themselves as they have specialized kind of training. And so they're supposed to be, superior. They're supposed to be given that.
The commanding roles, no?
Exactly.
Okay.
And the police also feel that, look, the Constitution gives us the mandate, the jurisdiction that we also have the power and we're supposed to be in charge and not you. And at the end of the day, we make sure that the police also want to take that commanding role. So mostly it happens. I have experienced quite a number of them that I realized it wasn't good. And I think something should be done about it. Something radically should be done about it from the national security point of view, from the police council, from the military council. And we can talk to them and make sure that these things doesn't occur because it occurs one too many. And what it does is that the confidence for the public and citizenry in both institutions will continue to drain.
But then, Sana Kanodia, Yahoo joint operation, senior police officers, and a commander. We have seen some Operation Calm Lives. Okay, Osha sa operation na a soldier, any military, the Cabo mo a year. It was very peaceful. At some point, we saw the high hierarchy of the police. So one more commander in that operation, and the unity ought to be established. Now, the question again that maybe Sano and say, who determines the salaries? Now, salaries, the stations, ought to be clear because Obiani na Juma warrior. Sir, soldier ni echo peacekeeping. Police in so edu baby amusumu to go peacekeeping. Yet me invite him any idea. Yes. So all those things, modalities, ought to be clear. But say anya clear, why should it descend that low to this level? Public a trouble here. Na moko as a 1-for-1. A hana mo betray the whole day and the whole day. How should Ghanaians see these two major institutions?
Well, that is why I'm worried because the Ghanaian confidence needs to be very strong in these two institutions. But in terms of remuneration, like I was saying, it has a lot of psychological impact because if the two of us meet and I think I perform more duty and I'm more risky, I'm more visible, more exposed than you. and you take more than me, definitely, I won't be happy with that kind of friction that it will be created. And so, though it is determined by the government, I mean, the authority, Ghana Police Council, and the Military Council, they make proposal to the authority, and then either it will be accepted or it will not be accepted. It comes from the hierarchy. But like I'm saying, it is psychologically, warfare. That's when it happens. It impacts on both institutions when they meet, especially the junior ranks. You don't see this much happen among the senior ranks. It happens among the junior ranks, and that is where they exhibit that kind of inferiority, psychologically weakness, and all of that. Because when they meet, their mind get back to, oh, I have been doing this, and you are this now. How can you, a military soldier, private soldier, your salary is bigger than even a police inspector?
But no, Nana, Obia did the open or choose you, Anna. Mimeti as a person we call military. I know the requirement of military for here. Me person we call police. I know. And to what call remunu, you ought not to think so, because one kasa and I would decide which one of them our person we are part of.
Well, the cardinal point is that at the eve of the introduction of the single span salary, when it came, I mean, it established equality, that they were all put almost on the same level. That when you see a military private soldier and you see a police constable, at the time you see that they are on the same scale. All of these institutions, they are all under capacity. And so they believe that that's supposed to have continued. But unfortunately, things have gone the other way around as we speak. That is the decision and the discretion of the authority. But I am saying it on authority, even though I am no longer in the service. I can tell you that has got a lot of impact on the psychological situation of the police personnel. And they are murmuring, they have a lot of issues, and they have a lot of concerns that I believe they have to talk about it. Regardless, before coming into 2020 election, there was this salary that was paid to the police. Eventually, it was taken away, and the military, their own, was maintained. All of these are significant factors that need to be considered and that need to be addressed. And if that is done, I believe that situation that always occurs, we can address it. However, when there is operation like Operation Calm Life and all of this, the superiors, they meet, and like I established earlier, the rivalry doesn't exist much among the superior officers because they understand themselves, they know themselves. But the junior ranks, that is where when they meet, these issues keep occurring. And I think say you bet me at one among a bribe kasa at
okay. Nana, just so mommy, Nana.